like I'm in a race. I don't know why I'm in a hurry. Although I am a little later than I was yesterday. And it's because I was looking at my notes I printed out from yesterday on Tim. I printed out the transcript from the Minimalism video, but I didn't really watch it. I mean, I watched maybe a few minutes of it, but it was way too long, and I got tired of hearing it. So, and then this morning I watched well, I didn't watch it. I listened to the one where he drove around the trailer park, RV park, whatever you want to call it, and looked at those cottages, and that's what they are, as best I could tell, is they're called cottages, not tiny homes. Anyway, I think that would be great for him, if that's the, if he can make it work for him. I don't know. Let's see if there's a parking place down here today like there was yesterday. Actually, there were 2 yesterday. Probably not, since today is a different day, because everybody leaves at different times. And of course, I got something in my throat here. And no, I don't need no messages, sorry. Alright, it looks like we got parking places everywhere. I guess this is the time I need to come. Alright, I'll cut you off till I come back. A drink of Diet Dr. Pepper, so hopefully that got the drainage out of my throat. Okay, so we'll talk about what... Oh, I haven't told you what the day is. It's Tuesday, the 28th, right? No, 29th of July, and it is 7:46. It's 73 degrees, 90% humidity. All right. And I think the dew point yesterday was in the 70s, which is kind of high for us. We're usually in the 60s, but anyway, whatever. You don't care. So he's at this park. Now, I am thinking the park is Palm Terrace, but I could be wrong. I just kind of glanced on the internet, and, who really cares? I'm not going to call it. I ask that none of you call it or whatever. I mean, I just think that's ridiculous, that just let the man be able to live. I'm not saying he's the greatest man in the world, but let him be able to live. And, I saw some people saying they were going to email that Kathy girl, and I just like, please don't do that. I mean, let people learn on their own. I don't believe in doing that to anybody. I just don't. There's videos all over the internet they can watch. I'm just here chatting about the man and the videos he makes. I don't wish him any ill will. All right. Now, if my friend wanted to go out with him, that'd be a different story. But I still say let people live and learn and decide for themselves. Okay. Now, supposedly those cottages he showed in that video was $129.9, and that was the last video he put up. Now, I guess y'all have seen non-compete. I don't know why I can't never get it right, but anyway, they found out the apartments for rent that Tammy was living in, so I guess she's moving on. Now, that in no way means to me that she is out of the picture. Maybe she has told him, maybe she gave him an ultimatum, find a place, and when you find a place, if I'm available, then we'll talk about collabing together again. But, she may have told him the ball's in your court this time, because I've said all along that's exactly what I'd tell him. Y'all know when I did that video last year, if you were here then, I'll try to remember to link it below, of my advice to Tammy. And maybe she finally took me up on it. I don't know. So anyway, he's in this minimalism video, and he's talking about he's a minimalist, and that And I mean, there's so many definitions of minimalism anymore. I'm not going to say that he's not. But anyway, he's a minimalist. And I think my papers have gotten out of order, if you really want my honest opinion. I don't know how they got out of order. But anyway, somewhere in the beginning, yeah, the first page is missing. Oh, that's because I do it. Okay, now, he says in here that if he won the lottery, he would not be a minimalist. So he finally admitted that. So he's starting to, I'm not saying he is having a confession or anything like that, but he is starting to come around to what some of us has all said, to start being more truthful about where he's at when he talks about, would he be a minimalist if he had lots of money? So the answer is no, he would not be. And that we've already suspected that. Okay, and then he said after he got his first divorce, he didn't want to pay rent and have a big house and things like that. Well, we know that chances are he couldn't afford all that. Still, no mention of any time he's lived with his children. No mention of supporting his children at any time. I guess we're supposed to assume that's what he did. Okay, he said he never filed bankruptcy, but yet some people have told me that he did. I don't know. I haven't done no background check on him. I don't do those things. And if I did, I wouldn't put it online, because y'all know how I feel about doxing people and talking about their past. I just don't. I mean, I'm talking about what Tim says in his videos. I'm not talking about what's out there on the World Wide Web. Just don't believe in it. All right. Now, he talks about, living in all these, have roommates. And, he lived out west. He had a camper, RV, all that good stuff. He said when he finally looked for a place to rent, he only wanted to live with one person who needed some extra money, where he just wanted a place he could have a TV and access to a bathroom and privacy. He didn't want to go in the kitchen and cook and all that good stuff. And he felt he found that several times. And he leased, 7 to 8 times a car, because I guess he wanted a new car. He likes new cars. He's had a couple of Harleys, a Honda, a couple of Gold Wings, big touring motorcycles. He loved them. And that he said, I would travel, I would live in Atlanta, and then he would travel all the way to California. Of course, he claims he used to travel to Florida every weekend, blah, blah, blah. His idea of rent is only $500 a month. Well, of course, we know he's paying more than that now, but I guess he's not paying, $2,000. Now, so when COVID came, he claims he lost his business and all that stuff. Well, he got money. We all know he got money when COVID came. But still, when the landlord came and said that he was going to raise the rent, he just refused to pay it. If the rent was $1,500, I guess it went up to $2,000. So that would have been half he was paying with Tammy. But he talks about he don't want to pay $2,000 in rent. Here's my thing. I think Tammy was moving out. I think Tammy had already made up her mind. She was moving on. I think that she had had enough. And he knew that, and he knew that she was going to move on, and he wasn't going to pay $2,000 a month in rent, because he probably didn't have it. I mean, he had it, but, it was that money that he got. And, he's stubborn. We all know that. And I don't think he would have paid $1,500 by itself. I really don't. I mean, he could have searched for a roommate, but I guess he didn't want to. Anyway, that was when he left, and he, went to Boynton to be with Teddy and Jolene, or live there. He got the wolf pup and the Forerunner. We know where all that money come from. And if you don't, there's plenty of videos out there so you can find it. but it came from government money. And, you know, I feel like that he had to have done something to his application to make it pass. I mean, I don't know that for sure. That's all allegedly, but I don't know how he got the money with a business that had obviously closed. And he had no plans of opening back up. Because he supposedly retired at that time. So he had no plans to open it back up. And, you know, he didn't get that money for his YouTube channel. He didn't have nobody working for him. I thought you had to have people working for you to get that money. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know all the things. All I know is that what he tells you. Anyway, he don't want to live anywhere, or he said he didn't want to live anywhere where he has to pay, where he owns a place and he has to pay HOA fees, you know, maintenance, upkeep, and then also, you know, utilities, insurance, stuff like that. But he knows he's at a point in his life, or he's getting close to that point, because he's going to turn 67, that he is going to have to decide or start hunting for a place, you know, that has a roof over it, that's not a camper. Although, for now, he's fine with his camper. That's why I say he's dilly-dallying around, and that's why I feel like, in my opinion, I'm speculating, don't know this, is that Tammy has pretty much gave him an ultimatum. And, you know, she's tired of this. She probably said, you know, I'll rent that place for a little while, but I can't rent it forever. If you're not moving in with me, I'm moving out. And, you know, I don't know if she's moving back to Boynton. You know, I feel like she's been up in Vermont they've been up there for the summer, but I don't, you know, like I say, I don't know that. I do think he still talks to her. I think they're probably free to see other people if that's what they want to do. But anyway, my opinion. He talks about that, you know, anybody could live in the South and, you know, find something for $1,000 a month with a camper. And that's not true. I don't think you could find that in North or South Carolina, but maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Ask, I can't even think of their name. Big Travels. They're having trouble in South Carolina finding a place. Of course, they're on the western side, Augusta. So they're trying to find a place to put their land and stuff, and they're having a hard time because most of it has been zoned that you can't live in a camper on it. So, and to me, their camper is almost like a, you know, like a trailer. But now Augusta is a different ballgame altogether. So anyway, I thought I'd throw that out there. It's not as easy as it sounds. He says he's evolved over time, but he's still a minimalist. He's a minimalist because he has to be. We still know that. We know that he rinses clothes. Jay has made sure we, you know, knew that. Of course, I think we all knew that. We just hadn't heard that term. He rinses clothes. And those shoes that he ordered from Nike, I had no idea about that policy with Nike. But that's another reason why I don't buy Nike. Because that cost is passed over to the, you know, the consumer. Now, I know I love Roman Reigns. He has a deal with Nike. And even they took his Nikes off of him last night on wrestling. I hadn't seen it because I didn't watch it. But I know that's what I've seen on the internet. I'll have to watch it today. I just wasn't in the mood last night. I was watching weather instead of wrestling. But I love the fact that I said, you know, like I said last week, I can go back and watch it later on. Anyway, I'm getting hot. Tim is, you know, everything I've said today is speculation, and y'all know that. I don't know what he's doing. I know he wants a place. I mean, you can tell that he's wanting to find a place to live, and that I do believe he thinks this might be it with Tammy. I do. I can see that from just the little things he's mentioning. But I don't believe that. I know that sometimes when you split up with somebody, of course, when I split up, I split up. There is no going back. And yeah, I've told y'all that before, but, you know, I'm just not one of those that you keep going backwards and forth. You know, I did that when I was younger, but in my old age, no. If you don't want to be with me anymore, or if you want to take a break, it's a break forever. And I just don't do that stuff. But anyway, Tim can do it if he wants to. That's up to them. But I do think he's thinking this is it. This is it. Maybe her and Tom have, you know, I don't know what happened to Tom's wife. Or maybe she wasn't a wife. I don't know. I thought she was a wife. She might have just been a girlfriend. So maybe there's more to that than what we know. Who knows? Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just all for views. You know, maybe all this is just made up. As I said before, they take breaks from each other, supposedly. But is it really a break? Anyway, I'm going to go because I know I don't want to make this video so long, and I'm not really saying anything. I'm just talking to you that maybe don't want to watch or haven't watched the Minimalism video. It's the same old thing over and over again, but he does be a little bit nicer at the end. I should have read that to you. I know you can look at it, but at the very end, he is a little bit nicer when it comes to the 62 part. So I'll give him credit for that. He talks about, I'm still enjoying my life of traveling or just doing what I want to do, drawing my Social Security. And I would recommend it if you can get it at 62. Okay, he's doing a little better if you can recommend it. He's not saying you must. And he's got, you know, I've got plenty of videos that you can watch. And he's, you know, he did go, don't wait. But I think he's just trying to be nicer than what he was being before. Nobody's promised tomorrow, and that's another reason to live your best life. Do what you want to pursue that gives you the most happiness. So he's saying, if working is what makes you happy, then work. You know, he says, is it being solo? Is it being married? Is it being in a relationship? Is it whatever it is, pursue it. Pursue it and do it because nobody's promised tomorrow. You know, he loves to throw that in. Nobody's promised tomorrow. No, we're not. We're not even promised today. You know, I could get out of this car and somebody run over me, or a meteor could fall from the sky, or whatever. You just never know. And I know that. All right, I'm going to shut up about all that stuff, because to me that stuff is just depressing, and why he brings it up all the time is beyond me. But I'm going to work, and I thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.
Love you. Bye. Jump into the car.